So now what we're going to do is we're going to jump down to the 8th verse. And I have the Elder Sakaran read the Hebrew again, and I will keep breaking it down.
Waya Kora'ah.
Right, Waya Kora'ah. Now the Waya Kora'ah here at the beginning, Wa is and, Ya is he, and Kora'ah right here is called. It could be either called or read, but in this case it's called. Waya Kora'ah, and he called.
Alahayim.
Alahayim, the gods, the powers.
Lara Kwayai.
Lara Kwayai is to firmament, or the firmament.
Shemayim.
Shemayim. Now, Shemayim here, the shah at the beginning of a word is which, W-H-I-C-H, or pertaining. Which or pertaining, Mayam, waters. So in other words, that which pertains to the waters, which is the heavens. Shemayim is the heavens, or that which pertains to the waters.
Wayahaya.
Wayahaya, and there be, or and there was.
Irab,
which is evening. So basically, and the evening, or and there was evening.
Wayahaya.
Wayahaya, the wise and Yahaya is there be, or there was, and there was evening, and there was
Bakwara.
Bakwar, right, which is morning, and there was evening, and there was morning. Yawum, which is day. So basically it says, and the evening and the morning, or and there was evening and there was morning, day. Shanya, which is two. The word Shanya is two. Like we went through the last lesson, we hit on the word akad, which is one. Shanya is two. So in the evening and the morning were the second day. So now I have Elder Sakaran read the whole thing in the Hebrew, and then we'll read the English, and we'll conclude the lesson, you know, and then like I said, you brothers can keep going over it and studying it, you know, and you know, and eventually, like I said, you'll build on your own, you know, you'll be able to go through it on your own.
Wayakwara'a Alahayim La Ra Kwayai Shemayim Wayahaya Irab Wayahaya Akwar Yawum Shanya.
Right. So now the English.
Genesis chapter 1 verse 8. And the powers called the firmament heaven.
See, and the powers called the firmament heaven. Because that's why when you look up into the sky, that's really the heaven. But that's the second heaven. You know, look up into the sky, in space. That's like the second heaven. You know, the first heaven is on earth. I'm sorry, the first heaven is where the Most High dwells in the fourth dimension. I'm sorry, nope, I was wrong on that. The first heaven is here on earth. Right. The second heaven, right, which is all the rulerships on the earth. The second heaven is when you look up into the sky, in the heavens, and then the third heaven is the fourth dimension where the Most High dwells at. That's why Paul, if you can give me that scripture, brother, real quick, 2 Corinthians, I believe it's the 11th chapter. And Paul spoke about being caught up to the third heaven. You know, so the first heaven is here on earth. That's why in the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, the scriptures speak about. Matter of fact, we're gonna get that too. Just hit that point real quick. So let's read this.
2 Corinthians 11.
2 Corinthians 11, start at the first verse, and then we're gonna jump to 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. Cause see, the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter. I mean, the whole Bible is important, but 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter is like a key book to understanding a lot of deep mysteries, because the book of 2 Peter, the 3rd chapter, breaks down about what the heavens really are. It breaks down what a day consists of. It breaks down going back to the beginning, because Peter was stirring up the brothers' pure minds back then, going back to the beginning. It tells you about the destruction of America through the missiles. It tells you what type of conversations we should be having about the destruction of America and about our kingdom being set up, which is actually Yahweh Shai's kingdom, which we're joint heirs with him. And then it also tells you that certain things that Paul wrote certain things that Paul wrote were hard to understand, and if you wasn't learned, then you wasn't gonna get it. That's why a lot of people trip over Paul's writings, and that's the Lord made him write it that way. That which I do, I would not, and what I would do, and that what I did, I would not do, because if I did, then I would, consent to the law that it was good. So the Lord purposely made him write it like that, because this is not for everybody. This truth is not for everybody. That's why you got a lot of guys bugging out, and a lot of guys can't understand that this truth is so simple. They can't understand it because they want things to be complicated, because they don't believe that the truth can be so simple. But if the brother can read that, 2 Corinthians 11 chapter.
2 Corinthians chapter 11 verse 1. Would to Yahweh ye could bear with me a little in my folly.
I'm sorry, you know what, brother? I believe it's the 12th chapter.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's the 12th chapter, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me see.
I mean, that's a good chapter too, but
yeah, that's it.
All right, go ahead. We started at the first verse, and now this particular the book of 2 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, was actually something that happened to Paul in the book of Acts, right? And he's telling the Corinthians about it to let them know what the certain things that he went through, because they actually stoned Paul to death. He was dead. Then his spirit went up into the heavens. But we're going to read it.
Yeah. 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 1. It is not expedient for me doubtless to glory.
Right. So Paul is saying it's not expedient for me doubtless to glory. Because in this flesh, you do have those urges sometimes. Because Paul said, look, I can boast. I can, but that's not what this is about. This is about the truth. This is about the glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. It ain't about us. That's why we keep telling you, man, the hell with GMS. GMS is just a vehicle that the Most High used to wake you brothers up. And we keep telling you that. We didn't tell brothers to lift us up. What happened when they were trying to lift up Paul and Barnabas?
Right. Paul.
They call them what? Mercury and Jupiter.
Right.
They were saying that they were the gods they had so much knowledge that when they heard this, when they heard them speaking, they said, look, the gods have come down on the earth. So they was worshiping Paul and Barnabas, and Paul said, man, he got nervous, man.
Yeah.
He said, nah, man, we're just men. We're just men, just like we're just men.
Right.
We're not God, I mean, we are gods according to the scriptures. I said you are gods, but we're men.
Right.
We suffer the same thing you brothers suffer from.
Right.
Them demons be plaguing us the way them demons be plaguing you brothers.
Right.
We go through a lot of shit that you brothers go through because we're men. That's why Yahushua came down in the flesh as a man to be tempted like we're tempted, so that he can go through this and be the prime example of us to follow. And that's why Paul was saying the things that he was saying. He was saying it to them brothers for the sole purpose of them not getting disenchanted when they went through certain things. And Yahushua said, he said, look, don't think it's strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you as if some strange thing happened unto you. Because the things that we're going through, we have to go through them.
Right.
Otherwise we won't be perfected.
Right.
And as we're going through it, as Elder Gabar mentioned, he mentioned a good scripture. He said that Yahushua said he will thoroughly purge the floor. And how do you become purged? Through catching hell.
Right.
That's how you become purged, through catching hell. Because that fire of the hell, that's why I said concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you as if some strange thing happened unto you. So that you got to go through this in order to be purged. Go ahead, brother.
Okay. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 1 again. It is not expedient for me doubtless to glory. I will come to visions and revelations of the Lord.
Go ahead.
I knew a man in Yahushua above 14 years ago.
This is talking. Paul is speaking about himself in the third person. He said, I knew a man in what? In Yahushua?
I knew a man in Yahushua above 14 years ago.
And that if you follow the precepts on that, it should take you back to the book of Acts, which this is what actually happened to Paul 14 years prior to him writing his letter. Go ahead.
Whether in the body I cannot tell, or whether out of the body I cannot tell.
Right, because he didn't know if he was actually dead or if he was actually still alive